5 things that grind my gears about GT3 in sim racing. What do you dislike about GT3 in sim racing? Let me know in the comments what grinds your gears and is a super real pet peeve for you. Here's my little list of 5. I wonder how many you will agree with. Let's go. Number 1. A single GT3 series is boring. If you stick to a single GT3 series, the GT3 racing can get boring pretty damn quickly. ACC, for example, has a pretty hefty turnover of simmers, as many will jump in, drive for a year or so, and then drop out or change things up due to the series being quite limiting. How many times does someone really want to drive the same cars and tracks over and over when other sims and other series offer something a little different? Having been one of those simmers myself, whilst I still drive and enjoy GT3 racing, I have had to really change things up, changing platforms and simulation to different GT3 kinds of racing. British GT, essentially all the way over to US and European stuff, and of course the multi-class WEC, IMSA and the Nords kind of events, just to spice it up a little bit after spending a year or two in ACC. Number 2. BOP is the be-all, end-all. Whilst BOP, or balance of performance, can keep things in check and keep the racing close, it can also have a bit of an adverse effect on the cars, and with a sim update on a given platform, your favourite car can go from competitive across the season to only competitive on very particular circuits in particular series. From the outside, it can be a very luck of the dice style role, and has also created meta cars in sim racing. The cars that are quickly found to be the superior, albeit not by much but noticeable enough that you can join lobbies, and though the sim offers an entire field of GT3s to pick from, you can often find that 70% plus of the racing field are all running the exact same car, whilst others turn into dodo birds, entirely extinct if not mythical, and something you actually end up talking to your friends about if you finally spot one on the track. Number 3. GT3 teaches bad habits. With all the electronic goodies making GTs easy to drive and so accessible for beginners, it's both a blessing and a curse for sim racing. It can teach some super bad habits, including almost encouraging brick feet. The finesse on the pedals isn't needed anywhere near as much as other sim cars, sim motors across multiple classes. A casual person could easily pick up a bunch of bad habits that would give them a hard time if they were to try different class. Make things more difficult than it otherwise should be, somewhat disparaging users from venturing out beyond GT3 despite the sim racing hobby offering so many great experiences to be had across so many different cars throughout so much history. Number 4. It's all a bit samey. Throughout the aforementioned BOP, all the cars can often feel a bit samey. While some of the cars do offer some interesting traits, the Porsche for example drive like a Porsche, much of the instability and unique traits of a car can often be fairly neutralized and limited via setup work. Each car is different, but the more setup work you do, it's often the case that the more the car will drive as you want it, and so ultimately the more the cars all tend to somewhat merge together and converge, essentially, losing some of their character. Number 5. Is GT3 too popular? GT3 popularity in both real-life racing and sim racing means that our hobby, it is responsible for many developers prioritizing GT3 over other series and types of racing within the titles they develop. With so much out there in sim racing, it can be a bit disheartening to see a server empty if the car choice is changed from GT3 to some older retro series, or open wheelers, or essentially any series that isn't GT3. With sim racing allowing us to experience and have that little insight into so much great racing and driving throughout history, it seems so wasteful to limit oneself to just modern GT3 racing. My advice to everyone listening to this video, watching this video, who is a sim racer, is to always broaden that horizon. Use the skills you learn with GT3 See how you can apply them and challenge yourself with different cars and tracks throughout history. Sim racing is a brilliant hobby. Games like Assetto Corsa, the classic moddable sim, lets you, well, let's face it, it lets you experience and immerse yourself in worlds since the birth of the car to futuristic and obvious memey. Go out there and do it. I guarantee you'll have a smile on your face. That's my little list. Do let me know if you have a little list of your own, or even why you might disagree with my list in the comments down below. Don't forget to click that subscribe button and check out the 5 reasons I love GT3 racing on your screens right now. I'll see you on the next one.